show, the WKU football and basketball teams are celebrating 100 seasons of tradition on the Hill. And our reporter Miles Schroeder brings you a special report on both programs throughout the century.
And also, we're about 5 minutes away until Director of Athletics Todd Stewart joins us live on set.
And with already 9 losses, the Lady Hilltopper volleyball team isn't quite having the season they hoped for. Later, reporter Harrison Volk will give us a recap on the ladies' season.
And later in the show, we talk tops and all things WKU with 10th President of Western Kentucky, Dr. Timothy Caboni.
Extra Point.
Welcome to the 2018 edition of the Extra Point Game Day Special. I'm Zach McGovern, joined by Katie Cook, Nathan Yazdani, and Lauren McCourt. Well, guys, it's a little cloudy, but at least it's not raining, though, right?
Yeah, I can deal with some clouds as long as there's no rain. It looks like people are starting to file in, some cornhole going. There's even a band over there playing.
Yeah, I think tonight we're going to actually have a good crowd for tonight's game.
Well, they said it all, so let's get it, let's go. Let's start the show. The Hilltopper football team looked to get their first conference win of the year last week against Old Dominion after dropping their first 2 conference games of the season. Both teams went blow for blow in the first 2 quarters with the score tied for most of the half. Davis Shanley broke the deadlock with a last-minute drive ending in a 15-yard dot to Kyle Fortenberry. Both defenses stepped it up and locked each other down for most of the second half. Then Gino Appleberry Jr. punched in a 2-yard run to put WKU up by 7 with a minute and a half left. The Monarchs responded with a Blake LaRusse dime to Travis Fulgham for a touchdown with mere seconds on the clock. ODU returned a short WKU field goal attempt, set up the game-winning field goal for the Monarchs. They went on to win 37-34.
You got to win the football game. We gave ourselves a chance to win. Now, you can always look to every single play in the game. There's third down conversions that we had, and we didn't convert them. That I think would have made a big difference.
Joining us live on set now is Director of Athletics Todd Stewart. During his 6 years at Western Kentucky University, 518 student athletes have attained their degrees. The Hilltoppers had captured 33 conference championships, multiple NCAA tournament appearances, including an NIT appearance. And thank you for joining us today. It is our honor. Now, Todd, this is your 6th year at being an athletic director at WKU. What is your best memory about homecoming?
I think just the excitement of people coming back to campus that haven't been here in a while and seeing friends that they went to school with, and then what we feel our responsibility is to put a show on for them on the football field.
And it's your 6th homecoming here on the Hill. You know, what's been your favorite part of the game day experience, and how has it evolved over your time here?
Well, I mean, this year, we've struggled a little bit with our record, but I think what's changed the most since I've been here is just the overall excitement of football, the way the crowds have grown, and, obviously the team success. I mean, from 2014 to 2016, winning a bowl game each of those 3 years and winning the conference championship twice, I think just elevated the program to a level it probably had never been at.
And now, Todd, with a young group in the Hilltopper football team, maybe not the season that everybody was hoping for, but what do you see moving forward with them?
Well, what's happening this year? I mean, certainly 1-6 is not what we're used to. It is who we are right now, which we don't like. I don't believe it will be who we are moving forward. We are getting a lot of young guys experience. We have a lot of freshmen and sophomores playing, and what we all feel will happen is that eventually the experience they're getting will translate to wins.
Right, and a lot of these losses are coming in the fourth quarter after, some really good play by the top. So what might be some misconceptions that the fans might have with the team so far this year? What are some things to look forward to with this season?
Well, I think, we've all been spoiled by the success we've had, but I think if people look at, we have a freshman quarterback and 2 freshman running backs who, a year or 2 ago were in high school, and now they're starting and playing key roles. And I think as this season's going on, and I'm talking about Davis Shanley, Gino Appleberry, and Josh Samuel, as this season's going on, you've just seen their production go up seemingly on a weekly basis.
Right. I want to switch it over to basketball for
Yeah.
a little bit. And
Good.
speaking of those crowds, you sold out Diddle Arena for this season. What does that say about our basketball team this year?
Well, I think it just shows the amount of excitement that everybody has. I think Rick Stansberry, the 2 years he's been here, has just been relentless about building our program. Certainly the team we had last year that won 27 games, I think really captured the fans' attention, and people liked how well they played together and how hard they played. And, we lost some guys off of that team, but we have an excellent recruiting class. And, the fans, I think, got attached to WKU basketball last year in a way that they hadn't in a while, and it's carried over to this season. And certainly we're happy about that. It should be a very exciting year.
Yeah, I was lucky to meet Stansberry at Hilltopper Hysteria, and there's just nothing like the energy he brings to that
Relentless
team.
is the word I would use.
Yeah.
He's just relentless, and he's just done a phenomenal job with our program.
Now,
Right.
Todd, in the past, it seems like WKU's always been a basketball school, and then we had those few years of WKU football really, winning those conference championships, going to multiple bowl games. Do you believe we're a basketball school again, or are we still a football school?
Well, my answer to that is I think we're everything. At least that's what our goal is to be. I don't think we have to choose. I don't think the success of one has to come at the expense of another. One of my sayings is a rising tide lifts all boats. And I think anytime you succeed in anything, it's a good thing. Ultimately, what I'd like to have is a year where, for everybody's sake, we have an 8 or 9 month period where football is great and winning a championship, and then it goes over to basketball and it's the same way, and everybody on campus rides that wave for a whole year. That's what we're shooting for.
And, we have new video boards, new sound systems now for both WKU basketball and football. So the excitement around the whole WKU athletic program is really starting to rise right now. Is there anything else you guys got in the works just to, elevate that game day and that game experience for the fans?
Well, those are huge additions. I really believe that they will revolutionize the experience for fans, because anymore, if the best place to watch a sporting event is at home. You're on your couch, it's comfortable, you control your climate, you've got your own refrigerator, your own restroom. So what we have to do is make the atmosphere at our venues as good as possible. And I think those high definition boards, we actually, it was all private money. We fundraised that $2.5 million for the 2 boards in Diddle Arena and the board in Houchin-Smith Stadium. And I think the clarity of that, coupled with the new sound system, will make the fan experience in those 2 venues the best they've ever been.
And
Any works in anything else you have planned on campus to be built?
Well, it's the 100th year this year, not really anything to be built per se, but it's the 100th year this year for football, which we have been celebrating, for men's basketball and for baseball. So it's kind of unusual to have all 3 of those, the 100th season at the same time. So we'll really be celebrating that 100-year theme all year long.
And one quick last question, over your time on the Hill, what's been your favorite WKU athletics memory so far?
It's a hard question because there's been a lot, but I would say, what really stands out is when we've had postseason success. So I think the football team winning bowl games, our volleyball team winning NCAA tournament matches. Like last year, we swept Notre Dame in the NCAA tournament. Our softball team a few years ago beat North Carolina and Georgia. I think when you make postseason play and then you succeed against perceived larger programs, that just does an incredible amount of just brings so much positive publicity and a vibe to your programs.
Right, that energy just makes campus so much more fun and just makes things athletic events so much more exciting. But that's all the time we're going to have for you today. It's been a pleasure having you on, and we just wanted to thank you for coming on with giving you this extra point hat so you can rep the show when you're walking around on campus. So thank you very much, Todd.
Fantastic. This will give me a little extra bounce in my step.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you. Thanks for taking the time out of your game day to talk with us. We wanted to give you the special extra point hat as a token of our gratitude, and good luck to you and the rest of WKU athletics going on this season.
Thank you. Great being with you.
Now we send it to our field reporter, Carly Hudson, who is at LT Smith Stadium.
Well, we're looking forward to an interesting homecoming matchup today between the WKU Hilltopper football team as they battle against the FIU Panthers. FIU is coming into this game with a lot of success in their season already, especially for Conference USA. They are currently defensively and offensively both doing very well. Their defense with the most sacks and the 2nd most interceptions in Conference USA. FIU is also 3rd in rushing yards for Conference USA and only 1 point away per game from averaging the most points per game in Conference USA. So it's definitely going to be an interesting dynamic today. Ready to see what both teams have to bring to the field. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Carly. WKU football is in the midst of their 100th season in program history. Reporter Miles Schroeder got the chance to find out just what the Topper tradition is all about.
In recent years, WKU football fans have been blessed with playing in bowl games in 5 of the past 6 seasons, but many fans don't realize how far back the history of this team really goes. Although fans call Smith Stadium home today, the original home of the Hilltoppers was the Bowling Green Fairgrounds. But when LT Smith took over as athletic director, all that changed.
They decided it was time we had our stadium of our own, so they scooped out an old rock quarry that was hanging on the south end of campus. But look, what a beautiful setting up there on the hill. And the view, it was quite a wonderful location. That was the home of Hilltopper football from 1927 to 1968.
Although he's known more for basketball, Edgar Allan Diddle took over the football team in the 1920s, and because there were rules against players talking to the coaches on the sideline, he began to use a towel to signal plays for the guys out on the field. The towel started out as a hidden symbol for different plays, but it has turned into a historical symbol for everyone who steps foot on the campus of WKU.
It came through our history as part of our DNA, and it wasn't contrived, it wasn't made up. It naturally became the symbol of our spirit and our determination and our achievement. So many universities, everybody's trying to create something that makes them special. We didn't have to create that, it evolved naturally.
The Tops continued to bring talent on the field even after Diddle decided to focus on basketball, and fans saw their first All-American in 1952 in Jimmy Fikes. Like many Hilltopper greats, Fikes' days at WKU didn't end on the field, as he would go on to become the winningest and longest tenured coach in WKU football history.
Jimmy devoted his adult life to Western Kentucky University. Jimmy was an exceptional individual. He was very sincere when he used the term that he used often, this is my university. He may have been one of those people that the motto, the spirit makes the master, fit to a T.
Just 9 years after Fikes retired, the football team was in danger of being shut down due to budget cuts. But Coach Jack Harbaugh had other plans. He kept the program above 500 for a few seasons, and just a decade later, Topper fans saw their first national football championship in school history. And although the Tops are struggling through their 100th season, WKU saw its best-ranked recruiting class in school history come in this year, and Gary Ransdell thinks that regardless of the record, the one thing that will never die for WKU is the spirit.
And it doesn't go away. You don't turn that off just because it's time to retire from a particular position. That will always be part of us. It will always be central to us, both in our hearts and in our heads.
For the Extra Point, I'm Miles Schroeder.
WKU will close out their 100th season with games against FIU, FAU, La Tech, MTSU, and UTEP. Make sure to tune into the Extra Point for highlights from all of those games.
The sun's not shining, but hey, that's showbiz, baby. Matthew Wine joins us from back in the studio to give us the forecast for the big game tonight. Matthew, what can we expect?
Lauren, what you're experiencing right now is basically what we're going to be experiencing for your game day forecast. I know it's a little bit gloomy out there. I don't want you guys to let that affect your attitude toward the game. Stay out there as long as possible all the way to the fourth quarter and cheer on our Tops. 54 degrees right now outside, cloudy conditions throughout most of the area, and that's the exact reason that we have these low to mid 50s throughout South Central Kentucky and into Tennessee. However, the further west you go, it's a little bit warmer, 63 in Jackson, 62 in Paducah, and 59 in Evansville, and they are getting in on some sunshine action. The clouds have moved out. They were there earlier today. They looked much more like us, but quickly began to warm up as the clouds moved out of the area. Unfortunately for us tonight and today, though, our peak heating has already moved out, and so we won't be warming up. We will only be cooling down later on into the evening. So, cool and cloudy for our game day forecast, but roll Tops, baby. Stay out there and cheer them on as much as you can. Warm and breezy for your Sunday afternoon, and that's due to a warm front making its way through our region. So I will talk more about that. It is really good news. Just stay tuned later on in the show. And a great start to your work week. Monday and Tuesday, they look absolutely fantastic. Temperatures still in the 60s, and even possibly another 70-degree day on your Tuesday. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Matthew. Coming up next, the Bogota King himself will be joining us on set. And no, I'm not talking about Bill Nye the Science Guy. Stay tuned because WKU President Timothy Caboni will be right here after the break.